Happy Monday, everyone. And let's start by asking the question that we absolutely love to ask at Shop Talk each and every Monday. How do men and women like us who work hard at their jobs, are kind to their coworkers, and are always willing to go the extra mile, continue to find joy in their work, get recognized for their contribution, and start each and every Monday with more passion and purpose? That is the question, and this show will give you the answers. I'm Dr. Dawn, and welcome to the Monday Huddle. If you're a first-time viewer, I'm the CEO and founder of Dr. Dawn Shop Talk. And as we like to say at Shop Talk, let's talk shop, shall we? In other words, let's talk about all those topics that we know can affect our success. And as a productivity coach, I am very passionate about this issue. I've created a powerful 4-step process that can help you increase your productivity, your possibility, and potential. So be sure to check out our Taking Charge Signature Series on our website and book your free consultation today. That way you and I can get started right away in making sure that you are coming up with all kinds of new ways to take charge of your life starting right now. All right, you guys, let's get to it. Let's get started with today's Monday Huddle. Now, if you're new to Shop Talk, you may not know we are obsessed with the Monday because we really believe that if you change your attitude about Monday, it's going to change your whole week. It's going to get your week started off on the right foot. If you change your Monday, you could change your life. So be part of our Monday revolution each and every Monday by joining us for different topics and tips that I'm going to share. Now, in honor of Valentine's Day, in the month of February, our theme for Shop Talk this month is called Show Yourself Love. In other words, show yourself some love with self-care and work-life balance. As a result, the title of today's episode is officially called, in fact, let me make sure I'm reading it from our Monday blog, which is also on our website. Be sure to check that out, drdawnshoptalk.com. And on the Monday blog, you guys, I'm going to share these tips and more. The tips are examples of some of the materials that I would give, for example, to our VIP clients, where I get really in depth with all of our tips. But on the Monday blog, I'm going to share at least a couple of tips with you on the very topics that I work with and strategies I develop for our clients. So be sure to definitely check it out. So the title for today's episode is Stop Working So Much and See What Happens. You guys, there's a lot of research behind that, right? The whole philosophy about working smarter, not harder. So today's episode is all about that because I want you to be able to show yourself some love. And part of that is to make sure you're not exhausting yourself by working on tasks in a way that's not really affecting your company's bottom line. Okay, so let's get into that. The first thing I want to share with you, and in fact, let me go ahead and read that from the blog we just talked about. I want you to ask yourself a couple of questions. Let's start with this. Have you ever been accused of being a workaholic? Or do you believe that you have this tendency bubbling right below the surface, and that if you were not careful, you would turn into a full-blown workaholic? Well, you guys, that was definitely me. And let me tell you one of the things that changed that. My amazing husband. I'm a Match.com success story. My husband and I met much later in life. We were willing to take a chance on love. And I'm telling you, my assistant and my staff, they were the ones who were so happy about that because before he came into my life, I definitely was a workaholic. I'll never forget the look on their face this one Wednesday afternoon, because Wednesday was our middle of the week date night when we were dating, and we've continued that tradition in our marriage. Well, I come out of the office and I'm looking at my watch and I'm looking at them. Everybody's still working in the office. And I look at them and I'm like, you guys, it's 4:30. 4:30 is usually when we should be out the door, okay? But I'm literally pointing at my watch and I'm like, it's 4:30. It's date night, people. Let's go. They looked at me like I was insane. In fact, my assistant made sure that she got Mark's cell phone number just so she could text him a thank you and say, thank you so much. We now get to go home at a decent hour, right? And I always tried to send them home, but they always wanted to stay. They had such an amazing work ethic that if they thought things needed to get done, they were going to stay, especially if I was still there. So you guys, if you can get a hold of this tendency, all right, you're going to make your office staff happy. You're going to make your coworkers happy. It's just wonderful to have this kind of balance, okay? So to my former staff out there, love you. You know who you are. We can thank Mark for helping me just calm down a little bit and create more of that balance. But another reason I knew that balance was important, you guys, is because I know the research supports this. I've seen this firsthand in my own life and definitely with my clients. And that is that if you spread yourself so thin and exhaust yourself, and you don't take the time to have passions and hobbies outside of work, you're not going to refuel yourself. You're really not. You're going to end up actually decreasing your productivity. And as a productivity coach, I can't have that. Okay. I can't have that for myself or my clients. So it's very important to make sure that you have activities and passions outside of the office, outside of your job, so that you can come back to work feeling great and giving your A game. All right. So here's one of the tips we're going to talk about. Tip number 1, know your company's bottom line. All right, what I mean by that is this. It is important that you understand where your company or organization's profit line is. So when you're given a task or a brand new project or initiative or anything that you're working on, you need to make sure that you don't overwhelm yourself by spreading yourself too thin. For example, you want to take this big task and the first thing you want to do is kind of break that up into smaller steps. But even if you do that well, you could accidentally be putting all your efforts in the wrong places. In other words, ask yourself this question. When was the last time you asked your superior, your boss, your supervisor, to identify for you what your priorities should be? When your supervisor gives you that brand new project, one of the first questions you may need to ask is, okay, what part of that project do you want me to prioritize? Now, if your boss has spread themselves way too thin, it may be a minute before they can get back to you, but usually they really appreciate the question. You guys, I've been in supervision and management for many, many years, and I can tell you, I absolutely love that question from an employee because that tells me that this is important to them and they want to make sure that they're using their time wisely. Now, oftentimes I will actually help that employee at the very beginning. I'll explain where the priorities should be, and I'll also explain what success should look like. Now, if your supervisor hasn't done that for you, just make sure you ask the question, because if you think about it, success really can look different to different people, right? So you want to make sure that you understand what success is going to look like for this particular project. If you do that, you guys, you're going to start using your time wisely. You're not going to run the risk of becoming a workaholic. Now, let me also make this clear about being a workaholic. Being a workaholic is not the same as being passionate about your work, okay? Passion and enthusiasm and grit, commitment, perseverance, all those things are qualities of your highest achievers in any organization. That looks very different than someone who truly has the tendency for workaholism. In other words, a true workaholic is someone who cannot stop, someone who seriously, no matter what, they get stuck in this loop. Oftentimes, it's very closely tied with perfectionism. And you guys, we have a great episode about that, so be sure to check that out, okay? So be sure to click on that link and check out that episode as well. And I've got some great tips on the website about how not to become a perfectionist and drive yourself crazy and your loved ones crazy. So be sure to check that out. But workaholism really is this sort of inability to stop, and you end up sacrificing so much as a result. It's all of that special time, perhaps, that you'll never get back with family and friends, or that you just really let so many other responsibilities in your personal life go by the wayside. That's what a workaholic really is, someone who cannot stop no matter what. Okay. So remember that there really is a difference between being very, very excited and very passionate. Also realize that different stages in your life will determine how much work you may have to put into something. But most of the time, that's temporary. I believe that your work life balance is like a big pie with lots of different slices. And it's unrealistic to think that every slice is going to be the same size, right? There are times when you have to devote more time, perhaps to your personal life on some things, and you don't want your work to suffer. So as a result, you might be getting a little less sleep, or your time might be a little bit more stressful. Maybe you're taking care of a loved one. And as a result, you're just going to have to devote more of that time right now. But then eventually, hopefully that person will get better and you'll be able to get a little bit of that balance back. Or let's say you're very excited about this new promotion at work, but you're going to need to put in some more hours. You might be working 60 or 70 hours for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, because you want to bring your A game and there's a lot that you want to learn. So it's okay if those slices of the pie are a little bigger at times. And as a result, you might have to have some smaller slices. In other words, have a little less time that you can devote to other things. That is very different than being truly a workaholic. So we don't want to get stuck in that place. We again don't want to get stuck with perfectionism. We don't want this sort of, paralysis by analysis phenomenon where you just overanalyze and go things through your mind, over and over again, where you kind of get stuck and there's no action. Action breeds momentum, and momentum breeds confidence. So you definitely want to get to that place. All right, you guys, as we wrap up today's episode, don't forget to show us some love on social media. So not only do we broadcast the Monday Huddle on Facebook and on YouTube, but you can also find us on Instagram, also on Twitter and on LinkedIn. So be sure to check out our website, all the information that we have to share for you. We'd love to work with you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Monday. Don't forget, you guys, I'm going to share the next 2 tips about this phenomenon. We want to make sure you're showing yourself some love and creating that work-life balance for yourself. So for tips number 2 and 3, be sure to join us next week. And don't forget, each and every week, we're going to have some free tips for you right here on the Dr. Dawn Shop Talk page. Have a great rest of your Monday, you guys. Stay warm out there. It's definitely cold outside. Definitely stay safe. And we will see you same time, same place for your next episode of the Monday Huddle. Take care.